what's going on? You too. Hey, so I'm back at it with the jet fuel. Here you go. Let's see here. Yeah, this is a lot of Popes. You know, if you're from this area, you know Pope real well. But if you're not from Eastern North Carolina, you know he's still got terminals in Greensboro. I think he's got yards all over Eastern North Carolina. But I think Judson. That's the owner's name, Judson Pope. I think he's still got a yard in Augusta, Georgia. I get surprised every now and then. I think he's got one in Norfolk. But anyway, Judson is Judson Pope. His dad was E.J. Pope and Sons. That's the name of the company. But his dad was E.J. Pope. They lived 2 doors down from my parents, my grandparents, and my mother was raised 2 doors down from Judson, and they played together growing up. They're about 5 years apart. They knew each other real well. And big money family, man. Big money family. E.J. Pope and Son, the way they got started, right there in Mount Olive, in my hometown, Mount Olive, North Carolina. They had a little gas station, and that was about 4 blocks from Mama's place, and it was just a little gas station. When I was growing up, it was still a Handy Mart. Actually, no, it was a Phillips 66 gas station, and it was just called E.J. Pope and Son. It wasn't called Handy Mart. But a guy named Tony, and for no reason at all, I just forgot Tony's last name. Tony just passed away about 6 or 8 months ago. But I've known him my whole life. How could I forget his name? But Tony managed it and everything, and they had a wrecker and 2 bays to work on cars, and they sold tires. It was just your service station. And they did self-serve and full service. And then at the same time, well, not at the same time, a little bit later on, they put a more modern, just a gas station that we think of today as a convenience store. And they put that down about a mile down the street, maybe not quite. And they called it Handy Mart. And that became Handy Mart number 1. And they started hauling fuel, and they started buying or building stores all over the place. And that all came to an end about 5 years ago. Judson sold the Son. He's in his mid-70s now. Judson sold all the stores to a company out of Virginia. That is I believe they're out of Virginia. And they're massive. They've got I've heard they got 2,000 stores nationwide. It's crazy. So now it's just Pope and Pope Transport, right? And they haul a lot of jet fuel. They still take care of the bulk. Well, if not all, they still have got the dedicated contract on all that, all the Handy Mart stuff. But that's going to change soon. That's been about 4 years since that buyout. Time flies. And but they had a dedicated contract and all of that, and a 5-year contract. So we'll see what happens with Pope Transport after that. I heard tell that Judson was trying to sell Pope Transport over the past couple of years. I got a good source on that. But anyway, so if you want to go buy 30 or 40 or 50 trucks, I don't know how many he's got. He's probably got 30 here himself. But he has got a ton of trucks as a whole. I bet you lot of trucks. I know it's not as big as some of these big companies out in Houston and places like that. That's most trucks to me. So anyway, what are we doing? Yesterday, I hauled 1 load of jet fuel. I had some scheduling issues and I had some maintenance issues. Still need to get my oil changed, but we had to take care of an air leak and a couple of little things, nitpicky stuff that'll sit there and drive you crazy. So today we've got 2 Pope Air Force bases, and that has nothing to do with Pope Transport, Pope Air Force Base. No relation. But I've got 2 Pope Air Force Base loads, and that's kind of weird how that works. You got to go to Fort Liberty. Of course, I will always call it Fort Bragg, so let's just get that out of the way. You got to go to the truck gate at Fort Bragg. Fort Bragg is the largest military installation in the world, and it really feels like you're riding around in the city, pretty much. But you got to go to the truck gate at Bragg, and then Pope is its own base on the base. But it does not have a gate. They use the truck gate at Bragg for access to Pope. Pope is an Air Force base that resides on an Army base. Now, we don't have a D-bids card. A D-bids is when essentially you've got a permanent sponsor and you don't need to have your stuff refreshed all the time. We've got a 6-month pass at Fort Bragg. And Fort Bragg is pretty easy to get on to. It's a little bit more of a challenge than Seymour. Seymour, man, you hang the twig card, just hang that thing out the window and keep trucking at Seymour. Every now and then you'll have one that wants to feel it and touch it. At Seymour. At Bragg, you got to take your driver's license. I don't have it, but I'm going to use this for my driver's license. You know, the back of my driver's license has got a barcode. You just have to, they don't want to see the front. They have no use in the front with scripture. Just hand it out. They scan it. He looks at you and tells you whether he wants to pop you the hood or not, or he may just say, all right, thank you. And dude, you move on. That's a pretty easy place to deal with. The good thing is, and I'll try to take a picture of it, try to remember. But when you get down to Pope, there are 3 guys, and they jump on your truck like a NASCAR pit crew. One of them is venting your trailer. I mean, when you hit the parking brake, dude, they go to work on your trailer immediately. And one of them's venting your trailer, the other one's breaking your seal. They got a seal on the bar, on the loading bar. So they pick up the loading bar, they start opening your lids, your dust caps, and they open up your box, and they open up your belly valves, and dude, they do all the work. The only thing they request you to do, and it makes sense when you see it, is they want you to hook up compartment number 1. And the reason why is they've got 2 guys hooking up those compartments, and by the time you can walk around and get back there, there's that one that's left, and by the time you get it up there, all 3 of you take your hands off, and you're dropping gas, dropping fuel, and that, my friend, is very cool. My man's coming. I'm gonna tell him what we're doing. Hey man, 498. We're going to Pope. They punch everything in the computer for you here in Transmontane, and I think the main reason is so you don't flub nothing up. You know, there's only 2 products here that I'm aware of: JP5 and Jet A. And anyway, JP5 Jet A, valve. You seal every part, seal everything up.